So far, so good for Toronto FC, coming away from Columbus with a 0-0 draw in the first leg of the Eastern Conference Championship against the Crew. This is your TFC HQ presented by Kia, and I am Gareth Wheeler. If you drew it up beforehand, this is exactly what Toronto FC wanted. A chance to go back to BMO Field, where if they win, they move on to MLS Cup 2017. It wasn't always pretty on the night. It was a scrappy game at times, but Toronto FC come away with the all-important clean sheet and a chance to control their own destiny going back home to a place they compiled a 13-3-1 record on the regular season. So Toronto FC can take the fact that they had really solid defensive shape and really limited the Crew throughout the match as a massive win coming out of tonight's game, especially considering they were playing without Sebastian Giovinco and Josie Altidore. Here's head coach Greg Vanney.
0-0 is not a perfect result. We'd like to get a road goal, but at the end of the day, we have to go back to Toronto and win the game. So we will obviously come be home and in front of our fans and our stadium, and we'll play to win the game.
The chances for both sides were few and far between on the night, as most of the play, it was cagey, it was sticky in the middle of the park. Toronto FC changed the formation to start the game, playing in a 4-1-4-1 formation rather than their typical 3-5-2, with Nicholas Hasler checking into the game, preferred ahead of Eric Zavaleta. What it did was it built those walls that Toronto FC put up that Columbus simply couldn't break down. But when the chances did come based upon mistakes by TFC, Alex Bono, the third-year goalkeeper, was there. He did it against the New York Red Bulls over the two legs with big saves on Kamara Lawrence and Bradley Wright-Phillips. He did it again in the second half here tonight. First coming out to challenge Pedro Santos. It was a big intervention, quick off his line, and Santos was cautioned on the play for simulation, and then the big save late as Harrison Alfo jumped on a poor clearance and tested Bono. The young keeper was up for it. His teammates singing the praises of the third-year man.
He's been there for us all season, and you know, I wouldn't expect him to not make a big saves like that in this game.
Small confidence builders. They say that goalkeepers have to have short memories, and for me, you know, enjoy it now. It's a good result for us on the road, but everything that happens in this game is null and void if we don't go take care of business at home.
All in all, a good night. Mentality was excellent. Thought we handled things in a good way, and we get to go back to Toronto in front of 30,000 people next week with the season on the line, knowing that a win gets us back in the final.
The way that Toronto FC played maybe wasn't pleasing to everyone's eye, but it was efficient and big picture. It is exactly what they wanted. If you're a Columbus Crew fan, you got to be a little bit concerned because it was up to their side to go out and be the aggressor, be the initiator in this game, which they really couldn't get it going. Now Columbus needs to go to BMO Field, a place they lost 5-0 last time they were there. And remember, that was a game where Giovinco and Altidore, neither of the players were available. Both of them will be available this time around. So Toronto FC have to feel good about where things stand going home for the second leg. They can see the finish line, but they're not quite there. It all goes down next Wednesday night in Toronto with a chance of qualifying for MLS Cup 2017 on the line.